Hey guys, this is Rick Usler here with AirgunWeb and AirgunWebTV. We are in South Carolina and it is a beautiful day. It is probably, gosh, mid-70s and it's December. I mean, we're just a few days from Christmas. I do remember now why I like it here so much. Anyway, I've got one day left and I thought, why not take some time, with it being as pretty as it is, to get out with my new Frontier Hawke scope. Now, we've been shooting at 50 yards, 45 yards, pretty easily over the shooting range. I got permission today to go ahead and shoot across the driveway because we can really stretch it out. Today we're sitting at 100 yards. The reason I want to do this is that this scope, this happens to be the 5x30. This scope here is the top of the line scope, or the top of the line model scope from Hawke Optics. This guy comes in a couple different magnification configurations. This one is a 5-30. This one has the TMX Reticle. It's for super long range shooting, specifically for powder burners like 308, 30-06, etc. So why did I mount it to an air gun? Well, this is my BSA Scorpion 1200. This rifle in 22 caliber, in the past I've shot 1-inch groups at 80 yards with this. I got it here today and realized that my favorite pellets for this I actually left back in Arizona, but we're going to shoot it today anyway. I've got the 1813 JSBs. This thing likes the heavier pellets because it's pushing more power. Normally I would shoot like the H&N Barracuda Hunter Extremes. I think that's, if I remember correctly, what this rifle really likes. But I've got the 1813s, that's what we're going to do. Now, at 100 yards, this was zeroed for 45, 44 yards. At 100 yards and at 20 power, I need to aim 3 mils up. I know that because I can plug all that data right into Chairgun, which ties in with this scope, and you can dial in that reticle and it'll show you exactly where you have to aim given your conditions. Have just a tiny little breeze ever so slightly that comes across every now and then here, so really it's pretty much still. It's not at all like we normally would hunt in the plains or up in the prairies there, and like when we're shooting prairie dogs and stuff, we got 30-mile-an-hour winds. It's not at all like that. So theoretically, if everything's going right, I should just aim 3 mils high, and I should be pretty close to the bullseye. That's what we're going to do. Now, before I do that, I do need to fill the gun. So we'll grab our pony bottle here. Go ahead and fill it up. Now, these rifles fill to 232 bar. It's a little bit more than your standard PCP, which fills to 200 bar. Okay, lose an O-ring. Nope. There we are. We'll go ahead and fill this up. Now, this particular bottle I'm using, it's actually a regulated bottle, and I've had them built specially to go with these BSA rifles or the Gamo Coyote rifles that need that 232 bar. So we're getting really an optimal fill every time we fill up without really having to watch the gauge. So I'm going to apologize up front. I know we're going to have some wind noise on this video. Doing the best we can here today, just sort of an impromptu thing, because I wanted you guys to see, I want you guys to sort of see this scope that they sent me, because it really is something special. All right, so now we'll go ahead and load up our magazine. It's your typical 22 cal magazine for BSA. This is just a 10 shot, very easy to load. You put it in, rotate it, put it in, etc. until you're full. Now, what I've noticed off a full fill, first couple shots are going to want to hit a little low because the valve is sort of not quite optimal. So we're going to blow off a couple shots here because, boy, at 100 yards, a little bit of FPS difference really, really impacts the shot. So let's get these finished up here. Okay, that's 10 rounds. So I'm going to go ahead, just put a couple quick rounds downrange here. Okay, I think we're pretty much on the money. Now, I only brought one camera, so what I'm going to do is go ahead and shoot some shots here, and then I'll bring the target back and we'll kind of see how we did. I've also got my Hawke spotting scope. You know, if you're shooting at 30, 40 yards, even 20 yards, I mean, who needs a spotting scope? When you start doing 100 yards or 200 yards or 300 yards shooting, is what these kind of scopes are designed for. You know, having a spotting scope's really handy. This one is their basic model, not terribly expensive. I like it because it comes in this cool case. You can actually sling it, throw it in your backpack. It's, you know, it's super easy. It's super easy to work, and it just goes along with you. Let's see here. There's my target. This particular one goes from, let's see, goes all the way to 36 power. So it's 12 to 36. That's a pretty good zoom when you're needing a spotting scope out in the field. All right, so I've got my scope set to 20 power. I don't believe I cocked it. Let's just double check. All right. All right, so I've got 8 shots left. And I'm going to go exactly 3 mils high. One. That one flew wide left. All right, I know the suspense is probably killing you guys. How do we do? Well, I'm gonna go grab that target. I'll be right back. All right, guys, so this is what we got. So I gotta tell you, at 100 yards, it's pretty doggone good, really. I mean, realistically, I had one kind of get away from me. This was just a flyer on the pellets, and everything else right there. And that's, you know, 100 yards, just looking at what the computer's telling me to do, plug it in, and there you go. I'm pretty happy. I got to tell you, the things that I really love about this scope, I love that the knobs are real low profile. When you're out and you're traveling, you want to put your good air guns or your good guns in a nice case. When they have all these knobs that stick out real high, it makes it really tough. This does have the illuminated reticle, which does stick out a little bit, but it's not too bad. Not like if you had, you know, double-sided big knobs here. It also has a real smooth side wheel focus here. It comes with the sunshade, and it's just a really slick package. Real quick on the TMX Reticle. What makes that reticle so special is that you've got distinct intersects at the mills below the horizontal. So as you go down the line and as you go out from the vertical line on both sides, you have 3 sort of columns each side of the vertical, and that at each intersect of the mill, like 1 mil down, 1 mil over, there's a specific aim point. And it was blowing a little bit earlier, and I noticed that I was pushing about 1 mil left, so I could go 3 mils up and 1 mil left, and there's a tiny little dot, and I could put that dot exactly where I wanted, and I was able to drop it. There was no guesswork. And for me, when I'm out hunting like prairie dogs, or, you know, we're taking shots at 100, 120 yards with air guns, and we've got these varying conditions, the ability to have that precision aim point really makes all the difference in the world. You're not having to guess. That's what I really like about the TMX Reticle. The Frontier scope, again, top of the line for Hawke. It's got fully multi-coated optics. It's incredibly clear, very forgiving eye relief. I noticed that if I'm running like from the 5 power all the way up to 20 power, it's very, very forgiving. As you go from the 20 to 30, it will require you to get very specific with your eye position. But from that 5 to 20, it is very, very forgiving, which is nice because especially if you're in a hunting situation, you don't always have a bench. You don't always have a table or something to get real steady and stable on. You want to have that flexibility when you're out in the field. And this certainly gives it to you. But if you want to bench rest, if you want to shoot super precision up at the range, you can crank it all the way up and you can see a gnat's butt at 50 yards if that's what you're into. All right, guys, that's it for now. If you're looking for the Frontier scope, go to www.hawkeoptics.com. You can learn all about it there. My name is Rick Utzel with AirgunWeb and AirgunWebTV. Thanks for watching.